Hello, comrades. Welcome back to Jacob's Custom Gunworks. Today, I have the gun that started it all for me. This is a Mosin Nagant. This is a 9130, an M9130. Admittedly, my first Mosin was an M44, which I still have to this day, but this platform is what started it all for me. My gun collecting, my interest in firearms, the history of firearms, and then, of course, what led to gunsmithing. This particular one I got about 5-6 years ago, and I decided to turn it into a PU clone. However, I do have a few things that might make some of the purists cringe a little bit, so we'll go ahead, start at the muzzle. I did thread the muzzle, and the reason being is to help reduce the recoil. These Mosins are fairly punishing with that 7.62x5.4R caliber, and I have titanium in my body now, specifically in my chest area from some heart surgery I had about 20 years ago. And after about 40 or so rounds, that titanium barks at me pretty heavy and says, hey, dumbass, you need to do something different. So that's why I threaded this. If I ever go to a civilian marksmanship class or program or shoot, hopefully they'll let me get away with just removing this and putting a muzzle nut on it, a thread protector on it, if you will, and let me shoot it, because I would love to shoot this at one of those. But that's why. Other than that, it is a 14x1 left-hand thread pitch, so I can run all of my AK-style brakes on it. I figured that would probably be very suited for this rifle. I really didn't do anything beyond that. What I did to the stock is I took the stock apart, removed all the cosmoline and all the crevices that I could find, and then I took my True Oil and I coated it about 10 times just to protect it. I didn't refinish it beyond that. I wanted to leave every nook and cranny and every mark and scar on the stock intact. I figured that would be really neat. I wanted to leave it more or less the way you would see it. It is a little shinier than you'd probably see it, but I wanted to leave it pretty well historical in that aspect of it, or at least historical looking. This is an aftermarket sling. This is a reproduction of what you would have saw on the originals. I believe this is pretty close to the above era of what you would have saw. The other thing I did is I sent the bolt in and I got it bent. Of course, because this was a straight bolt and not a bent bolt like this, because it didn't start off like that. I sent this in to a guy that I had done quite a bit of Mosin work with in the past, and he got this done. He has a buddy that does them, and he does a really good job of cleaning up all the welds and making it look nice. And it works really well on this platform. I'm going to go ahead and flip this gun over so we can talk about the scope a little bit. There we go. Alright, so the scope, of course it was not scoped, I did this. I had to inlet the stock, and I did a pretty good job. There's a little bit of gaps on some of the sides, so it was a little easier to kind of move this in the position. So I got the mount in there. It is pinned and threaded, so there are pins here, and then there's one underneath this mount to hold it in place, and then of course I had to drill and tap and get it so I could get those mounts all squared away inside there, and I believe there's 3 bolts inside here holding this in. So this is really rock solid. It's not going to go anywhere. I tried to remove this earlier before I made this video, and I forgot that I had, of course, Loctited these two in place, so of course my cant up and down is correct. But I did notice when I was trying to bore sight this that I do have a little work to do on the inside. I'll have a little bit of sanding on the inside of the back of this plate to get this moved over just enough to get this all in line, so it'll actually take a bore sight and actually be worth a damn when I shoot it. It is a WPA reproduction of that, of course, PU scope in 3.5 power. It's pretty well done. The only thing you're really missing is, a couple of date stamps and things of that nature, but I had to wait like 8 months for that scope, and I haven't seen another one for a long time since then, but I do like it. It is a very good homage to what it is. I think it'll be fun. They are really high, these PU styles, so you can still retain your iron sights. I've only fired one of these with a reproduction scope on it, and I would think with as high as the scope is, you wouldn't hit the broadside of a barn, but it actually does work once you get them dialed in and you get a good scope on there. But I figured I'd do a real quick tabletop on this. There's thousands of videos of Mosins out, so I'm not going to spend too much time on it other than, like I say, this is a gun that started it all for me. Thanks for watching, and until next time, comrades.